The night was colder than usual, the kind of cold that seeps through wooden walls and settles deep in your bones. Daniel Harper pulled his worn jacket tighter as he stepped onto his porch, the old boards creaking beneath his boots. His farm stretched endlessly before him. Dark fields, silent tractors, and a house that had known more loneliness than laughter in recent years. Ever since his wife, Clara, passed away, Daniel's world had turned quiet. The land he once loved had become a burden, the animals a duty, and every sunset a reminder of the one person who used to wait for him at the door. He was about to head back inside when something moved near the fence line. A shadow, small, trembling, and oddly human. Daniel squinted into the darkness. For a second, he thought it was a stray dog, but then a soft sound reached him, barely a whisper. It was a voice, a girl's voice. "Help," she said, before collapsing against the frozen ground. Daniel's heart jolted. He ran forward, his boots crunching on the frosty soil, and knelt beside her. She couldn't have been more than 17 or 18, her clothes torn, her hair tangled and wet. Her hands were scratched and bleeding. She looked like she'd run for miles. Without a second thought, Daniel lifted her into his arms and carried her inside. He laid her on the couch near the wood stove, then stoked the fire until it roared with heat. As the light filled the room, he saw the girl more clearly. Her skin was pale from the cold, her lips cracked, but her eyes, when they opened for a moment, were full of fear. "You're safe now," Daniel said softly. "You're safe here." She tried to speak, but only a whisper came out. "Don't tell them." Then her eyes rolled back, and she fainted. Daniel sat beside her, uneasy. He had no idea who she was, but something about the way she said those words chilled him. He fetched a blanket, wrapped her tightly, and made some warm broth. As the hours passed, the color slowly returned to her cheeks. When she finally woke up, morning light was pouring through the windows. Daniel was sitting at the table, a mug of coffee in hand. The girl blinked, confused at first, then sat up quickly, clutching the blanket. "Where am I?" she asked. "On my farm," Daniel replied gently. "You were half frozen outside last night. I couldn't just leave you there." She looked around nervously. "Did anyone come here? Did anyone ask about me?" "No," he said, puzzled. "Why? Are you in some kind of trouble?" Her hands trembled. "You wouldn't understand. Please, I can't stay long. I just needed somewhere to hide for a night." Daniel sighed. "Listen, whatever's going on, I'm not here to pry. You're safe to rest a while. But if you're in danger, you should probably tell someone, maybe the sheriff." Her reaction was sharp. "No police," she said, eyes wide. "They'll send me back." He leaned back, watching her. She was scared, but not dangerous. Something deep inside him, the same instinct that once guided him through storms and loss, told him she needed his help more than his questions. "All right," Daniel said finally. "You can stay for a bit. Eat something. Warm up. We'll figure out what to do after that." Tears welled in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. That day passed slowly. The girl, she said her name was Maya, helped Daniel with small chores to repay his kindness. She fed the chickens, swept the barn, and even smiled a little when the dog followed her around. But every sound from the road made her flinch. Every truck that passed sent her running to the window. By evening, Daniel started to piece things together. The bruises on her arms weren't from falling. The fear in her eyes wasn't from the cold. He had seen that look before, on his own sister years ago, when she had fled an abusive home. That night, as rain began to fall, Daniel sat by the stove again. Maya was asleep on the couch, breathing quietly. He looked at her and thought of Clara, his wife, whose kindness had been the heart of their home. Clara had always said that mercy was the only kind of strength that lasted. He missed her voice. He missed her warmth. And now, somehow, helping this frightened girl felt like honoring her memory. But mercy often walks hand in hand with consequence. At dawn, Daniel woke to the sound of engines. 3 black SUVs were parked by the gate. Men stepped out, stern-faced, wearing jackets that said, "Private Security." They moved with purpose, scanning the farm. Daniel's stomach turned cold. He went outside to meet them. The man in front had sharp eyes and a deep voice. "We're looking for a girl," he said. "About 18. Dark hair." She's missing. You seen her? Daniel hesitated. He could feel Maya watching from the window. No, he said finally. Ain't seen anyone around. The man's eyes narrowed. If you're hiding her, you're obstructing an investigation. Daniel met his gaze. You'll need a warrant to come on my land. The man smirked. We're not the police. We don't need one. Before Daniel could reply, another voice cut through the air, calm, cold, and commanding. A woman stepped forward from the SUV, tall, confident, dressed in dark tactical gear. Mr. Harper, she said, we know she's here. Please don't make this harder. Daniel's pulse quickened. Who are you people? The woman's eyes softened slightly. Her name is Maya. She ran away from a private rehabilitation center. Her father is a very powerful man. He just wants her home. He looked back at the house. Maya was standing in the doorway now, tears streaming down her face. They're lying, she cried. Please don't let them take me. My father, he hurts people. He hurts me. The woman's jaw tightened. Don't listen to her, Mr. Harper. She's unstable. She needs help. Daniel stood frozen between them, the mercy of a farmer against the judgment of power. He saw in Maya the face of every soul who had ever been silenced. And he saw in these strangers the shadow of every authority that claimed to know what was best. I can't let you take her, Daniel said at last. The woman's eyes turned cold. Then you've made your choice. Within moments, two of the men moved toward the house. Daniel stepped in their way. She's not going anywhere. One of them pushed him back roughly. The old farmer stumbled, then straightened again. I said she's not going anywhere. His voice thundered through the cold air. Something in his defiance gave the men pause. The woman sighed. We'll be back with the police, she said, then motioned them to leave. The SUVs turned around and disappeared down the dirt road. Daniel went back inside, heart pounding. Maya was shaking. You shouldn't have done that, she said. They won't stop. My father, he always gets what he wants. Daniel poured her a cup of tea, his hands trembling. Let them come, he said. You're not alone anymore.